Welcome back, Cardboard Warriors. How's everybody doing out there this morning? So I got did the pre-release for Innistrad Midnight Hunt last night. Pretty fun. Fun set. It's what I was kind of worried. The day-night mechanic is really difficult. It's we'll get into it a little bit more later. The set itself, great set. I had a lot of fun. I ended up finishing second in the whole tournament. So that was pretty cool. I'll show you what I pulled in my deck. I actually would have probably been able to finish first, except one of the rounds, just the games were too long, and I had a really bad draw the first hand, and I ended up losing the first game. But it was a really long, drawn-out game because I feel I probably had a little bit better deck than the guy I was facing, but I just got really bad pulls. I think I pulled 5 lands in like 2 instants, and I ended up mulliganing and then getting worse. I got 2 lands, the wrong call. It was just, I didn't do very well in the polls, so I ended up losing that first game. I won the second game, but we ran out of time, so it ended up being a draw because we went to turns right as I was winning that second game. So, because the first game took so long. So I ended up with a draw in that one instead of going 4-0. So, anyways, so for my kind of rares, I got the Bloodline Culling. I did get the Haunted Ridge in the borderless, which was nice. I've got a foil showcase Graveyard Glutton. These are the flip cards I used. Graveyard Trespasser, that is, and it turns into Graveyard Glutton. So the Graveyard Trespasser, he was pretty handy. I got him out a lot. The Tavern Ruffian, this guy, when it's night, I mean, 6/5, that's hard to deal with, especially for 4 mana. So he was really good, and even when it wasn't night, a really good blocker with the 5 toughness there, 2/5. Shady Traveler, the Menace helped out a lot. Ecstatic Awakener, he's pretty beastly. You get one of those 2/2 zombie that you can't really do anything with, and then you can sack it to transform into a 4/4. So, or just any other small creature. Thermo Alchemist helped out a little bit, not much. Cathartic Pyre, of course, got to have direct damage and removal. Dreadhound, he's pretty big. I got him out a couple times. He's pretty beastly. Plus the extra couple life, the extra life or two that he would usually do for milling the 3 cards and getting creature cards in the graveyard helped. Play with Fire, another direct damage removal thing. Most of the time I ended up killing small creatures with it, so I didn't get to scry very often. Diagraph Horde. I only got him out like once. He's a little pricey for what he does. He does create the 2 zombies, which is nice, but he's only a 3/4 for 5, so not a very good card. But he did help out a little bit. Behemoth. The Behemoth was a monster. This guy, every time I got him out, it was pretty much game over. So nobody had an answer for him really. There was a couple times he got removed, but most of the time he would get out and he would just wreck shop. So that Menace 7/6 that's tough to deal with. Most of the time I ended up not sacking a creature. I ended up just paying the extra because I got him late game anyway. Moonraider Slash, of course, can't say enough about this. When it's night, it's a lightning bolt, and daytime is still, not too bad. 3 mana to do 3 damage to any target. Still decent removal. This one is incredible removal, especially when it's night, and the -13, but even early game, the -2 got rid of a lot of small threats. And then the Ardent Elementalist, of course, he's a little pricey, but he did help a lot, bringing back the removal cards each time. So every time I cast him, I get one of the removal cards back, which when you're in a 40-card deck in a sealed format where you don't have a lot of the removal cards, this is really handy to get that removal back and get rid of one more creature. Eaten Alive, I don't think I ever stacked a creature to it. I think I paid the full 5 every time because it's sealed. You're going to end up with a lot later games where you can get 5 mana on the board. Then Abandon the Post actually helped out a lot. I was real big on this version of this card back in the Time Spiral block, I think it was. It might have been Ravnica. I don't remember. I think it was Time Spiral block. They came out with one that target creatures can't block with flashback. This just helps clear the board and helps you get those last there's a couple of rounds. Once you get built up, you do this once, and then you do it, flash it back the next turn, and you usually get through for enough damage to do lethal. That one won me a couple games. So, Voldarian Stinger, didn't do much. It did win me a game or two because of the pump ability. I take that back. I was able to pump him up and win at least one game with him, just as the extra damage. I had a bunch of other creatures attacking too, but the Vandal, he was actually really good. The Menace 2/3, and for 3-drop, I was getting him out a lot, and then whenever it switched to day or night, it did 1 damage to the opponent. I was getting him out a lot. I was forgetting about that a lot, so I probably could have won a few games a little faster. But I did. He is good. The Evolving Wilds I put in there never actually pulled it. I didn't pull it one time in all the games. Festival Crasher. This guy's really handy. I mean, you get him out there as a 1/3, and then you do a removal spell on one of their creatures, and then you got a 3/3 coming over. So I got them up to a 5/3 one time. Removed 2 of their creatures with instants, and then brought them over. The Mounted Dread Knight, I got on the board like once, but he didn't really do much. Just a little pricey, and of course you want to wait to cast him until after you do damage, and that was kind of a little harder. This guy though, the Siege Zombie, worked out really, really well because you get a lot of those zombie tokens. Plus, I just had a lot of smaller creatures that I could get out there. So even when you get kind of stalemated on the board, you still got all your blockers so they can't come across. And then at the end of their turn, you tap all your creatures to deal 1 life to them. So you're at least paying them for 1 every turn, even when you're stalemated. Immolation, I kept misplaying this one. Made a lot of mistakes with this because I kept thinking it was like Bloodlust back in the day. If anybody remembers Legends. I was thinking it was an instant. I kept thinking of it as an instant because it's +2 -2 for 1, which as an enchantment is not very good. I basically most of the time used it for removal. I just used it to get rid of anything 2 toughness on the other side of the board. But I did end up putting them on my creature a couple times just for that extra couple points of damage to get lethal across. But most of the time I forgot. I'd keep it in my hand and then swing wide and then think I was going to throw it on in the middle of combat, and yeah, screwed up a few times with that one. The Hobbling Zombie, he was handy. The Death Touch. Death Touch is always a great thing to have on the board because it really holds back even the biggest attackers. He's like, oh, I'm not going to attack on my 6/6 because you'll kill it with that Death Touch thing, and then I'll get a free zombie token out of it. So he helped out a lot. And then Blood Pact, there was a few games I just was kind of running out of cards and ended up using it on myself. When it was, I think it was Theros had a very similar card. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life, and I actually used it as a damage spell to get the last 2 points of damage over on the opponent. I'd make them draw 2 cards and do the final 2 points of damage to them to kill them. But I ended up actually using this on myself more often than not because I was doing pretty good in the game, so I wasn't losing a lot of life. So I had plenty of life, and getting more cards to do more damage was actually more important to me than doing a couple points of life to them because I had such big creatures coming over. So there you go. That's the deck I used. Like I said, I probably could have gone 4-0 if we had more time in that second match to where I could have gotten game 3 in. So we'll kind of quickly go through the comments I didn't use. I got a couple Silver Bolts. A lot of people were using this against me. It is a pretty good removal if you don't get a lot of removal, but I had so much removal that was instants and sorceries, which helped out the other cards that required instants and sorceries. The one that gets pumped up and then the one that brings those back. So the 2 red cards. So I didn't end up actually stacking them, and I'm kind of glad I didn't because 3 to do 3, it just wasn't that great. I did get a couple of my werewolves, my bigger ones, killed with some of these in some of the games, so it is an effective card. I had a lot of removal, so I didn't need it. A couple of jack-o'-lanterns. I'll just kind of quickly go through. Here's the green commons. The blue commons. I almost went black-blue because there's so many flyers. I got a lot of blue flyers, and flying's huge in sealed and draft. I almost did it, and that was my big weakness was little flyers were doing a lot of damage to me because I didn't, if I had removal, I was usually using it on the bigger threats, so these little 1/1 and 2/1 flyers were just wrecking shop for me. There was a lot of card draw and a lot of flying in the blue, so I almost went blue and I almost went white because I had a pretty decent stack of cards in the rares in white. I'll show you those in a second here. Silversmith, you know, a lot of counter stuff. This little guy, everybody I played that was playing white, this little guy was huge. The Lunark Veteran. This may end up being the main one drop in life gain decks from now on, because whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life and it's 1 drop 1/1. But then when it dies, you get to cast it for its disturb cost, and now it's a flying 1/1 that gives you the same effect. So you get a double use out of it. This card is huge. This card's broken. I mean, it is just too good. And it doesn't depend on day or night either. The disturb thing is way cooler than the day or night thing. I definitely like that. It's like escape, but way better because you don't have to exile cards or anything. You can do it on the second turn. You can put them out on the first turn. Somebody kills them, cast them again on the second turn. So, great card. Unruly Mob. So another Silversmith. The Trapper was tempting because of tap target creature. A lot of life link, a lot of life gain in this set, I noticed. So, well, here's a couple of black cards that I didn't use. I actually thought about putting the Rotten Reunion in after the first couple of games because so many people are having a lot more luck with me with these zombie tokens. But I just, I don't know. I probably should have put it in because it was an instant with flashback, so I could use it twice to get 2 creatures. It's technically, this is a really good card because it's a 1-drop 2/2 and then a 2-drop 2/2. So it's a lot of creatures. Unfortunately, those zombies with the Decayed aren't terribly useful, but they're good for sack and stuff and whatnot. I probably should have stacked that in the main deck. The rest, I just don't like discard. Everybody's hit me with that discard card. Target opponent discards 2 cards and you create a zombie. That card's busted bad. I just don't like discard. It really hurt me. And I kept getting that card. And people kept casting it on me. And it just annoys me when I have to discard or get counterspelled. Novice Occultist. I don't know. I wasn't too worried about it. It just wasn't as powerful as some of the other creatures, so I didn't cast it, or I didn't stack it. This one, I didn't have enough vampires to really think this was worth it for 1 point of damage to a creature and 1 to a controller and draw a card. I mean, it's a lot of bonuses, but unless you got that vampire out to make it a 2-drop, it's kind of just too pricey, I think. I don't know. Let me know your opinions, but that's what I feel. So, we'll do the uncommons first real quick. So, here's the green uncommons and the blue uncommons. So that's another reason I really want to go blue, because I pulled a Delver. I was like, oh, I got to play the Delver. So I really almost went blue. Another flyer, 3/2 flyer, hard to deal with. Yeah, plus you get to look at the top card of your library. Yeah, Delver's amazing, but I just decided red was a little more conducive to what I was running in the black, and decided to go with that instead. Field of Ruin, I did get that. I decided not to stack it just because a lot of people didn't get a lot of the good rare lands that they were actually using. So I was, there wasn't a lot of good non-basics in the set to have to worry about, really. And then some of the multicolor cards here. Okay, Fusion, Rebirth. Alright, so my promo pre-release card was actually the Sigardian Savior, which really made me want to go white because of flying and returning all the creatures from the battlefield, because I got this one and the Brutal Cathar in white. So white was looking pretty good as well as blue. And I got this in green, so the Unnatural Growth. So green looked decent just because of this card, but I didn't really think there's enough in green to back it up. Dire Strain Rampage and a Curse of Shaken Faith. So those were my rares. That was the deck. The day-night thing, the biggest thing is just keeping track of it. It's so hard. On Arena, I'm sure it's a lot easier because it does it automatically for you. But the biggest problem with the night is that, yeah, you got all these creatures that do all this really cool stuff if it's night, and they're really huge and all this. But getting it to become night, you basically have to completely skip a turn. You completely hose yourself for a whole turn because you can't cast anything, because you've got to make sure to turn it to night. And then hope that your opponent doesn't cast 2 spells on their turn, so it goes back to day again. So it's too easy to get to day, too difficult to get to night. So that's a big problem. If it had been backwards, I think it would work a lot better, and that would make more sense to me, because, night's more aggressive, so you would think casting 2 spells would make it night, and daytime is more, relaxing. You would think that no spells would make it day. it's completely backwards in my opinion. I think they should have totally done it the exact opposite. Would have made it way more effective and way more powerful in the set. Maybe too powerful, and that's why they did it this way. I don't know. I don't like not knowing each turn what my creatures are going to be able to do the next turn. I like trying to plan ahead, you know. It's chess, it's strategy. And I like to know what's coming up and plan ahead as best as I can, with the only unseen factor being what the opponent has in their hand, you know. So anyways, and the flip tokens, they're overkill. I only used 3 out of the 8 that you get in one of these, or 9 that you get in one of these. Oh, I used 4, sorry, that's why I mathed it up. The other thing is they really need to, for this particular set, I think they need to add more time on the deck construction, because most people didn't even have time to write the names, and I had to scribble the names really, really fast because we were actually already matched up by the time I was doing this, you know. So I'm kind of slow at deck construction as it is. So these flip cards, I think they went overboard on them. You don't need that many, and I would think that most of the LGSs would be able to provide them if you did need them. Most people didn't use them though. They just flipped them in the sleeve, flipped the card in the sleeve every time, you know, which is a little more hassle, a little rougher on the cards, but most people didn't seem to care. So, and I got 2 plains, an island, 2 mountains, and a swamp for my awesome, gorgeous new lands. I love these lands. All right. I did get 3 packs for my second place finish. 3 set booster packs. My LGS has been doing this, you get a pack for every win thing, and it's kind of lame. I don't think it's enough rewards. I came in second place and only got 3 packs, so little disappointed by that, but we're going to open them and see what we get for you guys. So here we go. Art card, a forest, and some commons, some uncommons, Mysterious Home, and a Malevolent Hermit for our first rare, with the Benevolent Geist on the back, and Otherworldly Days, and a zombie token. Alright, and next pack. Oh, we got a signed art card. That's pretty cool. So you get a signature card. Nobody cares. And then some commons, uncommons. Any Delvers? Nope, no Delvers. Meh. Lisa, Forgotten Archangel. Not a bad card. Not worth much, but pretty powerful card. And a Flesh Taker. This would have been, oh, and an Orzhova. The Church of Deals, back from Guild Pact. That's an old one. So yeah, this would have been pretty cool. If I'd have gotten this pack in my pre-release, I probably would have gone black and white. That would have sealed the deal there. All right, and last pack. And another art card, land, and commons, uncommons, and oh, we did get a mythic, a Primal Adversary. Okay, so there's that. Oh, and a foil Giza. Nice. Glorious Resurrector. And a Cheddar the Squirrel from Odyssey. Another list card. So 2 list cards out of the 3 packs. That's pretty cool. And a full rare and a mythic. So not too bad on the prize packs, but not great. But yeah, I think it's a little cheap. I think they could have done a little bit more. But anyways, that was my pre-release kit. Like I said, I got second place. I probably could have gotten first if, like I said, we hadn't gone to time in that second round. Would have jumped me up to probably the first and second battle, and if I'd have won that one, which I think it was a pretty good deck. It was doing really good. So yeah, I had fun with it. Let me know how your guys' pre-release went, and gals, and how did you place, and what'd you pull? Did you get any good pulls? What colors did you run? And if you saw that I should have run a different color with the black, or 2 different colors entirely, you know, blue and white, it wasn't out of the question. I was actually thinking about building a second deck, blue and white, and if the first one didn't work out, switching to the whole new deck. But so it looked like I could have done it with the blue and white too. So anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and check out the description below. There's a lot of good links to save you money, get your cash back on all your purchases, and just, you know, free money down there. So check it out. It helps out the channel, all those links, and I really appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.